CL King. What's up, everybody? Coming to you live from the High Definition Studios here in Jacksonville, North Carolina. And this is the home of the Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune. And I am so blessed because, like I tell you guys, every single Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at 8:30, we bring somebody new into your living room, and we have somebody new in our virtual studios. And the reason for that is because we want to bring to you people who are making an impact. And it's all different types. It's all different genres. It's all different discussions. Every night is new. Even the intro music isn't the same every night. And that's what keeps it fresh. And so we're very, very blessed to have in our virtual studios a great friend of ours now, Kristen Thomas. And she is really changing the health and wellness industry. Kristen Thomas is a nationally recognized business and marketing coach, helping health and wellness practitioners to authentically increase their impact and income. Impact and income is important. She specializes in organic marketing and authentic sales strategies, copywriting, customer experience, and social media marketing. Listen, Kristen has been seen in Inc Magazine as well as Forbes, and she now exclusively helps people with passion in the health and wellness coaching industry who want to increase their impact and their income. She wants to help them attract their soulmate clients and to gain new relationships with marketing, sales, and pricing to finally bring their dream business to life. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes you can start things and you might have a passion about it. You might be like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And you done quit your job and you out here trying to start something and you're not seeing the results. So this is why we bring professionals on this show. And Kristen is no novice when I tell you that she has made money. I'm talking about multiple monies. And so welcome to the studios of Impacting Life 24/7, Miss Kristen Thomas. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
Oh, man, it's such a great time in the Impacting Life 24/7 world. And we're delighted that you have taken time out of your schedule, Kristen, to be on our show and be a part of what we've got going on here. And so I just want you to know that we've got two environments here, Kristen. One is live and one is the podcast. So we've got two audiences, basically. You know, our podcast audience spans from Greece, all over the globe in 13 different countries, as well as almost 34 states in the U.S. And so people are listening and downloading Impacting Life 24/7 on purpose. But we also have a live audience, and people always see they try to lurk in the background, Kristen. They'll come on and see, man, what is King talking about tonight? What are they talking about on Impacting Life? And they won't say nothing, and they'll be watching, and we just let them come. We let them hang out with us because we know, Kristen, that if we can impact just one life, if we can make an impact in one life, then we've done our job, because our mission is impacting one life one day at a time. And so thank you, Greg, for being with me. Brother Greg is my vice president. He handles everything that makes us money. And so we appreciate him. And so, Kristen, if you could give people some information on how they can contact you. We do this at the very beginning of the show. How can people find you and how can they contact you?
Sure, absolutely. So anyone who is on Facebook or Instagram, you can follow my accounts, Kristen Elizabeth Thomas. It's Kristen spelled Kristin. And if you want to check out our website, it's healthwellnessbusiness.com.
Yeah. And Greg, are you friends with Javi? And I'm going to just see if I can get Javi Madrigal and Jessica Madrigal on here. Madrigal, I think I'm saying their names wrong. I've said their names wrong since I've known them. Isn't that terrible? But I'm tagging them in this show because they're in this industry, and I don't want to keep all the information for me, Kristen. We believe in what this platform is designed to be a collaborative platform. We want to share and leverage the knowledge that comes on here. And so having somebody like you, we definitely want to share the knowledge. So, I know you, we've been talking for the last 30 minutes. We also talked when we first met. but our audience doesn't know you. So, Kristen, introduce Thomas to our audience on Impacting Life 24/7. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Again, it's so great to be here. So, I am the CEO and founder of Health and Wellness Business School, and we specialize in helping alternative health and wellness coaches and professionals to learn the business, marketing, and sales skills that they need. And I know we'll go more into my background as we go through this interview. So, the short of it is that I've been a marketing professional over 12 years. I was a health coach for 4.5 years, and now I've married my two biggest passions in my career life and in my personal life. And now we help health and wellness coaches to learn the marketing and business skills to build their own businesses, because we're on a mission to impact millions of people who are suffering with chronic diseases today by way of activating tens of thousands, if not more, hundreds of thousands of health coaches to learn how to attract their clients so that we can together make an impact, a measurable impact on today's disease epidemic, which we all know is only getting worse unless we do something about it. And I'm here to do something different about it.
Yeah, and Kristen, we were talking offline, and some of those nuggets that we discuss in the pre-show, we should bottle those up and sell those. We probably could make a ton of money just on the pre-show stuff. And here's what I know, and we discussed that health and wellness. A lot of people have stopped and taken inventory of those two words, their health and their wellness. And I can just tell you the truth that even I, CL King, have stopped and taken note of it. That's why I partnered up with Javi and Jessica, because I don't want to get down to the end, Kristen. You see folks that are 55, 60 years old, and they look like they're 90. Right? They can't go from point A to point B. I don't want to be like that, man. I want to be thriving still, in the later portions of my life. But everybody that we talk to on the show has had some intersection with adversity, and I guess, Kristen, you're no different. And so I would like for you to kind of tell us your health story. Give us an explanation of what you were going through, and kind of let's unpack the journey that you went through in your own health experience.
Yeah, I love that, because that's exactly why I do what I do today. I had no idea that back in early 2000s, when I was dealing with very severe gut health issues, that it would ultimately land me to what I'm doing today. So basically, I was dealing with for basically half of my life was an autoimmune gut health condition called ulcerative colitis. But it was about 5 or 6 years into experiencing those symptoms that I was ultimately diagnosed. I'd started off probably in my mid-teens, experiencing some sort of digestive upset. My doctors chalked it up to lactose intolerance and acid reflux, put me on medications for that. So I accepted it, moved on with my life, took those pills every day. And then every couple of years, some new symptoms would be added on. And I started to get non-answers from my doctors of, we don't know what else is going on, or it's just still lactose intolerance, or it's just still acid reflux. But to me, that didn't resonate. And so at that time, when my issues were kind of at their worst, when I was just in debilitating pain and just always self-conscious about what was going on for me, I lived in Boston, Massachusetts, which, supposedly has some of the best doctors. And so I went to one of their top hospitals and was finally diagnosed with ulcerative colitis. And at that point, everything just clicked. Every symptom that I had been experiencing mapped up to what that disease was. So I finally had an answer. But I was put on a lot of medications, heavy steroids, anti-inflammatories, all sorts of medications that my doctors basically said I'd have to be on for the rest of my life. And I was 21, 22 years old at that time. And I didn't really think much of it at that time.
The interesting thing that you just said there, because we talked about this, I think we talked about this our first encounter, that the answer was, and listen, medicine has its place. Okay, all my medical friends out there, and we have a host of them that are in our purview. We have friends in the medical industry, so don't get it twisted, y'all. But what we're saying is that sometimes when you hear what Kristen was told, hey, look, here we got some pills for you, and this is going to be the course in your life for the rest of your life. How did that make you feel?
At first, I didn't really think much of it. I was so grateful for all of the diagnoses. I wouldn't have been able to get that otherwise. And yeah, I am like a huge proponent of conventional medicine. Don't get me wrong, like there is a huge place for it. We need it. And it's where we get these big diagnoses that we need, right? But it was at the point where I was trying to ask for more because I knew that I had a digestive health condition. And even though I ate relatively healthy, I was starting to wake up to the fact that certain foods I ate were making things feel worse. So one day I set up an appointment with my doctor and I asked him, point blank, I said, well, are there different foods that I could eat? Like, could I change my diet? Because, I do have a digestive health disease. And, he looked at me and acted like I had three eyes. And he said, well, diet has no impact on your condition. And to me, I wasn't a health professional at all, but that just didn't make sense to me, just deep in my gut, so to speak. It just didn't resonate that the food I was putting in my system wouldn't have an impact. Like that just didn't add up. And that started to really wake me up to the fact that maybe there was something else that I had to look into that my doctor wasn't able to guide me on. And that's when I kind of found my own path around that. So it was kind of that part. And then also when I think I was on my third round of medication treatments after a third very severe flare up that landed me in the ER at 2 a.m., hooked up to all sorts of things. And they wanted to do the same exact treatment that they had done 2 times prior. And so it just felt like, it's kind of the definition of insanity. Try the same thing over and over and expect different results. This was the third time trying the same exact medications, the same doses, and the past 2 didn't work. So why was the third one going to work? And when that didn't work, and they told me at this point we were looking at surgery, it just felt too extreme and like we weren't looking into enough things. So again, that's when I just kind of opened my eyes and said, I need to look for something else because I just don't feel like this is enough and there's something else here.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Impacting Life 24/7. Welcome to our live audience, and I am joined by Kristin Thomas, and you can find her at healthandwellnessbusiness.com. You can also find her on all the social media platforms. She is really out there, and she's making herself available to those that are in need. And I think that's what let me just let's just have a commercial break without the commercial break. Here's one of the reasons why Kristin got on this show, because there's hundreds, ladies and gentlemen, who try to solicit our desires for companionship to come on this show and tell their story. But Kristin, the way she approached Impacting Life 24/7 was probably by far the best approach of any person that's reached out to us. I think I told you that, didn't I, Kristin?
Yeah, you did.
I said the way you approached us, she had done her research. She had researched the show. She wasn't just saying, "Hey, I want to be on your show." Let me just tell y'all, that don't work. It won't happen. And so that's what I'm talking about in this whole collaborative relationship, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just about what can I do for you, but we got this is a collaboration here. And Kristin, she had did her due diligence before ever reaching out to us. And that is one of the reasons why she's on the show. But then secondarily, when we looked into Kristin's story, we said, wow, she has, everyone that we come on in this kind of niche, they have all had to go through their own health journey. So, it started for you, Kristin, that you were told, hey, look, this is going to be your lot in life. And then, every year you're seeing a new manifestation. And so then, you're told that you're going to have surgery. What was the surgery going to do?
They were basically just wanting to take out at least a foot or more of my intestines. And the thought was that that's where the issue was. So let's just take it out and expect that that's going to get rid of the issue. But, again, to me, that just, number one, it's a life altering surgery, right? It changes the way you digest your food, so to speak. And I was young at that time. I was still dating. I still had my whole life ahead of me. That just didn't feel like the lifestyle I wanted to lead. And it just didn't map up. That felt like such an extreme measure for feeling like we hadn't dug deep enough.
Right. And I think the reason why we put the plow down in this section, Kristin, is because you were young. and it didn't, certain things began to not resonate with you. We don't have to bash our medical professionals to still say, I need to dig deeper, because
Mhm.
this is something that is altering. It's not going to alter your life if they take a foot out of, you know what I mean? It's going to alter my life for the rest of my life. And I think what I'm trying to get at, ladies and gentlemen, is in particular in our health and wellness, you're in charge of it. You're responsible for it. You get this one, temple that you live in every single day. I saw this on a Snoopy cartoon, Kristen. It said that somebody said you only live once, and Snoopy said, no, you live every day. You die once.
Mm.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, man. So let's do this thing right. And so you said, man, I got to dig deeper. I love your tenacity. She's a digger, ladies and gentlemen. She knows how to do research. That's how she partially got on the show. So, Kristen, after you, what did you research and what did you find?
I think I just started researching everything. I mean, next to going on Google, which didn't send me too far, and then I just got, kind of pushed back to some things I'd already been told. I actually went onto Instagram and just started kind of researching things, right? Because that's one of the channels you can go just to find out all sorts of things. And I had no idea what I was looking for, but I happened to stumble across what ultimately ended up being some health coaches that focused on this. And then somehow, and I cannot tell you how this came to mind because I was just so new to the space of like alternative wellness, but I decided that I was going to go see an acupuncturist. I've never seen one before. I never really even talked to anyone about one. So I'm just kind of considering it like universal guidance that led me to an acupuncturist. And one of the reasons I did is because I was so stressed about worrying about this. Like, where is this going to lead? Because I had a family history of colon cancer.
Oh,
and I was terrified of that ultimately leading, because when you have ulcerative colitis, you're 10 times more, or seven times more likely, I believe, to get colon cancer. And so that was very real and very terrifying to me, especially at such a young age of this is where I'm headed. So I was just willing to do anything. And so I signed up to work with an acupuncturist. And the very first visit, she, took my pulse and was looking at different things. And she basically told me my adrenal glands were shot. Like, they were completely stressed out. And I didn't even know what an adrenal gland was at the time. And, so she told me, like, I really need to get help. I need to work with someone who specializes in this. And so I popped back onto Instagram. Turns out the health coach I had found and started following a couple days prior specialized in that. So again, synchronicities happening all across the place. So I joined one of her programs, and that's where things really just started to shift. I changed my diet. And like I told you in our pre-show, within 2 weeks of just changing my diet, like not doing anything else, symptoms I'd had for years were pretty much gone, like 90% gone.
So I'm interested because I was trying to tag our Patrice Bryant, who will be on this show. I've been on her show before, and she has gone down the acupuncture journey. I told her I'm a little scared to do it. I don't know if I can do it, but she actually gives a great insights on it. Did you actually go through acupuncture, or you just were working with the consultant there? Did we lose you?
Oh, yep. Sorry. It's back. My sound cut out for a second.
Okay. Yeah, I was saying in terms of acupuncture, did you actually go through some acupuncture?
I did. Yeah, I did it for years.
Wow. And it helped?
I think so. I can't say for sure on the digestive health side of things, but I definitely felt things shifting with my energy and stress and everything, and even my sleep. And that just, when you're sleeping better and you're less stressed, it helps all areas of health. So I'd say
I'd be interested if anybody in our live audience out there has done acupuncture. I know our Patrice Bryant has, but I got to work up the nerve because I've heard so many positive things about it, and maybe somebody can gift me a free
yes.
a free acupuncture hour stay, and they could just use small tiny needles on me. I don't need the gigantic ones. But again, this is Impacting Life 24/7, and I have as my guest Kristin Thomas, and she is beyond a health and wellness coach. She is a coach two health and wellness coaches. And she, in the second half of the show, you're going to hear some dynamic stuff that this lady has done in terms of business building. She's been in Forbes and Inc Magazine, like I said in the intro, and more than that, she has created something that's scalable and repeatable for people who are in the health and wellness space, especially the coaching space, to help them not give up and become frustrated because of not seeing the results they're looking for. And so you said you changed your diet. So we just got to know. Okay, so let's say diet before. Okay, day number 1 was old diet. Day number 2 was new diet. So what was diet on day number 1?
Diet on day number 1. Let's see. I mean, in general, I'd say a probably more healthy than the average American these days, but I definitely still would have, my fair share of like fried food occasionally, or, French fries, or, a burger on a regular bun, some cheese occasionally, some mac and cheese. I mean, nothing like super crazy, but to me today, that would be like unheard of. So,
and I hope my friends Javi and Jessica Madrigal listen in to this if they can't catch it live, because I want to now. So now let's go to day number 2. What was your change to day number 2?
Yeah, it was pretty extreme, I'll say. I mean, I follow basically like what's called the paleo diet, for those who are listening who are familiar with that. But it's basically like you pretty much cut out grains, all dairy, which I needed to anyways because I was already lactose intolerant. Refined sugars, pretty much all alcohol, things like that. Like basically anything that's processed. So it's basically like clean, good quality meats, organic veggies and fruits, complex carbs. That's kind of the basis of it. And then any drinks, like low sugar drinks and things like that. So that's a shift that I made. So it definitely required rethinking how I grocery shopped, how I meal planned, how I ate out, how I navigated, holiday parties and outings with friends and stuff. But it was a change that I needed to make.
That's a good point. Can we just go there just for a second, because you made a good point, and I've been wondering this myself, because I think about Javi and Jessica, because they are I think they're vegan. I think that's what their diet plan is, and it's working tremendously for them. And how do you navigate if you do have an event to go to? What do you do? Bring your own food or eat before you go and say, "Oh, I'm good tonight"? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. Honestly, I think it kind of depends on the scenario. Like if I'm, if there's like a holiday party or like a get together at a friend's house and it's sort of like a bring your own dish, I'll definitely make a dish that I know I can eat, like with veggies and hummus or, guacamole or something. So I know that like if everyone else brings stuff I can't eat, at least I can eat what I brought.
Right.
So I'll do that sometimes, or I may have like a little snack in advance if I'm not sure if there's going to be much else that I can eat wherever I'm going. But for the most part, I've gotten pretty creative with being able to navigate places. Like I joke with my husband one time, we were driving home for the holidays, and our flight got in late and we had to have dinner at a truck stop Denny's. And I was able to navigate that, even though it wasn't like the best quality of foods. I was able to find stuff that wouldn't trigger my symptoms. So I can get pretty creative when I need to.
Yeah, and here's the deal, man. I'm thankful for having Kristen Thomas on our show, Impact Life 24/7, and I thank you, Greg, for always putting our guest information out. You can find Kristen at healthandwellnessbusiness.com, Six Figure Formula on Facebook. She's on Instagram, Kristen. I can't read that small. I apologize. What's your Instagram handle?
Kristen Elizabeth Thomas.
Yes, it was too many words there. I missed it. Then, of course, healthandwellnessbusiness.com/consultation. And we're going to be talking about that particular piece in the second half of the show. But you mentioned Denny's. Let me just tell you, me and my wife, I told you, Kristen, the show is just fluid, right? Me and my wife went to Denny's, and we have determined that we won't eat at a Denny's ever again. And Denny's, please don't sue me. But the reason why we won't is because we waited like 2 hours to get called in. It was the place where we were at. It was super short staffed, and they said, okay, we'll take your name and then we'll call you. So go sit outside. And we sat outside and we sat outside and we watched people that were there way after us go in and eat and come out. And we're just not those type of people that make a big scene. But I finally said, okay, enough is enough. What's up? And he's looking at the list, and I see our names crossed out. Like,
Oh no.
I said, you didn't call King. I know that name. It has a certain sound to it, and I'm hungry. And so anyway, that's just our story of Denny's. But you're right. Intentional food transitions is probably hard for people sometimes to grasp. Here's why, because bad foods are, or unhealthy foods are convenient, aren't they?
Very much so.
Yeah, it's quick and easy, and it's a whole lot easier to swing into. Down here we got Bojangles, the chicken joint. It's way easier to swing into Bojangles to get some chicken than it is to go and actually have your meal prepared, or eat something healthy. And so again, everyone that we talking to in this arena talks about it from they were intentional about it. So
Yeah.
you saw results after 2 weeks, and then what happened?
And then basically from there, I was just feeling my body getting stronger and stronger. I didn't feel like I was having the, severe reactions that I used to. And so ultimately within, 6 months or so of being on that journey, feeling like my system was a lot stronger and just having a very strong instinct that I no longer needed to be on my medications, I made a personal choice to get off of them, because I just didn't feel like I needed them anymore. This was not under my doctor's guidance. I did not work with him on this decision. It was something that I just felt like I needed to do for myself. Because I'd also been reading a lot about some of the side effects, the long-term side effects of some of my medications, and come to find out, one of mine said that if I took it for 7 years or more, it would actually start to increase my risk of colon cancer, which I was trying to avoid in the first place. And I was on year 5 of being on it. And so I was reaching that 7-year mark, and I was like, okay, this is not okay. Like I can't, I'm trying to take something that I'm trying to avoid getting this cancer, and it ultimately give me that. So I did a lot of deep digging research to fully understand what it was that I was on. Again, just really taking charge and empowering myself so that I could make decisions that I felt like I needed to make. And I took, so many hours to do that, but I was so glad that I did. And I was able to wean myself off of those medications. Again, I'm not recommending anyone do this on their own. It was just my own personal choice. Nobody told me to do this. I just did it myself. But I was able to do it in such a way. I did it very carefully and very intentionally. And my body was fine. I didn't react. I never really had any flare-ups after that. I was just very careful. And again, it all came from being very intentional with everything I did.
Man, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, diet, and I'm assuming you incorporated some movement in your life too. So diet and exercise are the lifebloods to a long life, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just Kristen Thomas has really given us a roadmap. I mean, she had an intestinal disease where they were ready to take out a foot of her intestines. She had dealt with severe pain for years, and they put her on medications, and she just decided to go on a health and wellness journey for herself. And when we come back from this break, you'll be able to hear now why that health and wellness journey was so amazing and how it's helping so many thousands of people. I got one portion of our commercial that I have to do because I owe the Colonel. The Colonel is Colonel Skip Mondragon, MD. He has practiced internal medicine as a specialist in adult medicine for over 30 years. He is a 26-year Army veteran who spent 30 months in combat zones. He's a national veterans wrestling champion. He's a speaker, a self-proclaimed amateur wrestler aficionado. Skip and his wife, Sherry, have 5 adult children, 4 grandchildren, and reside in Texas. He is the author of Wrestling Depression is Not for Wimps, Lessons Learned from an Amateur Wrestler's Fight to Triumph Over Depression. And the reason why I had to do that commercial is because Skip is our newest platinum sponsor, and our commercial is already uploaded. And so we got to go back and we got to get our team to go back into the studio and add Skip the Colonel to it. And so, but I want to do due diligence to give Skip his spot, because our platinum folks get that. Impacting Life 24/7 has some amazing sponsors, and we want to tell you about them. Here's our gold sponsors: Michelle Perry, founder of the Successful Diligence LLC and host of the Successful Diligence podcast. She is the best-selling author of The Pebble in My Shoe. You can connect with Michelle and get a copy of her best-selling book at successfuldiligence.com. Adrienne Barker. She is the host of the Adrienne Barker Speaks podcast, a life coach and CEO of Professional Global Etiquette, as well as a marketing and branding expert. She is the author of Head Down, Shut Up, Growing Up in the Family Business. Connect with her at professionalglobaletiquette.com. Katrina McCain, a renowned poet and author of Because She Decided to Love. Because She Decided to Love is a collection of poetry and prose about love and its impact on every relationship. This raw and uncut poetry book addresses the themes of how we express love through loss, hurt, pain, grief, and passion. Please connect with Katrina at poetkatrinamccain.com. Our platinum sponsors, Gregory Smith. He is the author of 100 Simple Ways How to Manage a Property and Evidence Room. Get your copy today by reaching out to Greg on Facebook, or you can email him at smithg1963@yahoo.com. Greg is a humanitarian at heart. Often you will find Greg helping distribute food in the community and meeting any need that arises. Mr. Mike Black from New Bern, North Carolina. Mike's helped men throughout Eastern Carolina lead a faith-filled life. He is a compassionate leader in his church and a devoted husband, as well as a father to his daughter who recently graduated Army boot camp. Dr. Nate Dunlap Jr., the executive director of the PRF Institute. He is the author of What's Next? Preparing for Eternity, and the author of Don't Leave Me Like This, Inspiration to Leave a Legacy. PRF is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. The PRF Institute is blessed to be the premier stewardship-based teaching ministry that truly responds to the needs of families and communities around the country. Find Dr. Dunlap and his amazing team at prfinstitute.org. To become a sponsor, reach out to clkingspeaker.com. Yeah, that's right. clkingspeaker.com. Ladies and gentlemen, I told you, Kristen, we do it wild here. And if you'd like to become a sponsor on Impact Life 24/7, all you got to do is go to clkingspeaker.com. We've got 3 sponsorship levels. To get a commercial on our show, you would have to be a gold or a platinum sponsor. So we give honor and shout out to those. As long as they are sponsors, they get a commercial for life. In that hype, that's dope, man. This the real deal. And the reason why we do this is because the sponsorship levels aren't, you're not going to break your 501c3 to, not your 501, your 401k. You're not going to break your 401k to become a sponsor of Impact Life 24/7. But we believe that there are small steps in great distances. A little bit here, a little bit there helps us in our mission to reach this globe. And so we're blessed to have Kristin Thomas in our virtual studios. And Kristin has really been helping us understand the journey that she took in her health and wellness. Now, the second half of this show, Kristin, is going to be really good because we're going to help people understand. I think it's going to help not just folks that may be health and wellness coaches, but it may inspire some people who are like, do I really want to start a business? Man, the tools that you are going to provide to these people is going to be remarkable. So, Kristin, if you're still on mute, but we want to get you back on live. There we go. There she is. And so, thank you for being with us, Kristin. It has been a really fast 30 minutes, and we're very, very excited. But now you begin after you went through this whole health journey, and for those who missed it, they'll have to go back and listen. You had worked in the corporate world in terms of marketing for some time, right?
Yes. Yep. So I had been in in different marketing roles for various companies for several years at this point. But then I ultimately transferred into starting my own marketing agency. So it was kind of along the line, almost around the same time that I started my marketing agency was also around the time that I started my own health journey, really kind of taking control of things. So I kind of took control of my career and my health all at once.
Yeah. And so, a lot of people come on our show and they're modest about, well, I really they don't like to give, the things that they've done. But on this show, you can give shameless plugs on this show. That's what we want. And so tell us about some of the work that you did and the results that you got.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, I mean, in my marketing work, I specialize in helping early stage companies. So we're pretty much starting from ground zero to learn how to get started, right? We would start their website, their social media presence, their partnerships, their blog, like everything content and messaging related to really build that brand awareness. And so I had the opportunity over the course of time to work with over 50 different companies in order to do that, several of which got acquired by some really large, well-known company names. And I really kind of learned through that process, kind of a rinse and repeat process of what it takes to build a successful business and the intentional steps in which you need to go through that apply to pretty much businesses across the board of like what you need to be focused on when. And that was super helpful to me when I ultimately switched career paths, which I think we'll get into next. When I became a health coach and transferred into a different industry, I really pulled in a lot of what I had seen work for all of my clients and the work I had done with them to start this new business.
One of the things that I like about what Kristen says is, um, you know, she says that you can attract and become super passionate about attracting your soulmate clients. I really like that. When you think about soulmate, you're thinking about, man, that's a true collaboration and connection, huh?
Yeah, that's a term that just, came to me one day. It's just, it really at the essence, it's just the people you were truly destined to serve, right? Like the clients that if you had those people all day long and you would just be the happiest person in the world in your business, those are the people you want to have in mind when you think about attracting them to your business and really just making that your focus.
And Kristen, she built a successful health and coaching functional nutrition practice that brings in 10 to 30 thousand dollars a month. And so she knows what she's doing in terms of building businesses. But I think what you did now was you looked at health and wellness, and then you looked at business.
Mhm.
And so you saw that there were people that, and we talked about this in the pre-show, the health and wellness coaching industry, you said, is exploding, right?
It is. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's schools that are pumping out thousands of grads every single year, and that's just a few schools that I know are doing that are operating at a really big scale. There's lots of smaller schools that are pumping out grads. So there's a ton of health coaching coaches coming on the market. I'd say, especially in the last 7 years or so, I've seen this industry really explode. Like back when I got into it, health coaching was this thing where you really had to, just like I did, really scrounge the internet, right? Dig through Instagram to try to find the coaches. But
Mhm.
today, there's just so many people, and especially with what transpired in 2020 and so many people going online and starting their own businesses, a lot more people also became health coaches. So we're seeing the industry get even busier these days.
So here's what I'm going to do, because as you know, ladies and gentlemen, know on Impact Life 24/7, we try to guide you to the sources and resources that can help you along the way in this journey. So I want you to connect with Kristen right now. Go to healthandwellnessbusiness.com, and you can connect with her, especially if you're a health and wellness coach and you're not seeing things turn like you want. She can help, because that's what her specialty is. She's not a coach for people trying to get healthy. She's a coach for people helping people get healthy. And
Mhm.
the reason why you chose to do this is why, Kristen? Why did you choose to help coaches who are helping people?
Yeah. And one quick correction, our website is actually healthwellnessbusiness.com. There's no and in it. I know it's a little
Oh,
bit
see,
confusing. So
it,
health
it, it
wellness
just
business.
it just flowed so well.
Yeah, it does. I know.
Healthwellnessbusiness.com. Yep, I'll get it.
No worries. Yeah, so it was, so basically, I decided to kind of wind down my marketing agency at the time that I really started to feel better with my health, right after I'd finished working with two health coaches myself. I just really loved the work that we did. And so I basically interviewed those coaches, asked them what certifications they went through, what was that journey. That felt really doable and really exciting to me. I felt so lit up in a way that I hadn't felt in a long time. And I just knew this was my next calling, to help other people get healthier and
Mhm.
not have to suffer for the years that I did, or not know that this was an option. And so I basically, enrolled in those schools, built up my business and ran that successfully for 4.5 years, really pulling in all of my marketing and entrepreneurship experience. And what really like ultimately kind of tipped my interest into starting what I'm doing today with Health and Wellness Business School is that over time, as my brand presence got bigger, other health coaches started to follow me on Instagram or Facebook or what have you. And they started to reach out to me and saying things like, hey, Kristen, I've been really struggling with my business. I don't know what to do with my blog, or I have no idea how to create a website, or my social media presence is pretty much dead, even though I'm spending hours every day writing content. How are you doing it? How are you getting hundreds of people liking your posts? Or, how do you have 2 wait lists? Or how do you do this and that and the other thing? And as these questions started to mount, like one every so often didn't really do anything for me. I was like, okay, I'm just happy to help these people one off. But it started to increase in frequency of questions. And I started to realize that there was something here, that there were so many health coaches. And it was at the moment that I talked to a particular health coach in my network who I'd known for over a year. And they're incredibly smart. Like they can help you even at the genetics level, like super, super smart person who I thought had a booked out practice, like super successful. Come to find out they were holding a part-time job just to pay the bills because they weren't making enough from their health coaching practice. And to me, that just lit such a fire under me. And that to me felt unacceptable, that somebody that successful in terms of what they know about health and wellness and that capable of helping people in such a profound way was not able to reach the people that they wanted to reach because they had such a huge gift to give, and 2, that they weren't able to make a living doing that, which is ultimately what they wanted to do. And I was just so heartbroken over that and so shocked that learning the actual insights of so many health coaching businesses actually wasn't what it appeared to be. And so that really started to basically turn on a light bulb in my mind. And I said, I basically feel like I have a choice at this point. I feel like I have this gift of knowing how to build businesses and knowing the marketing piece and the copywriting piece and social media and all of that just comes second nature to me because it's been what I've been doing for so long. I could either keep that to myself and keep using it in my business and make the level of impact I could continue to make as a health coach, or I could step into what I'm feeling is my next level here of not just helping the people I could help in my health coaching business, but activating all these other health coaches and teaching them how to do what I was doing so that we could, multiply by thousands, multiple thousands of times the amount of people that I could reach. And to me, that felt like my deep purpose. So that's what transitioned me from health coaching to doing business coaching for health coaches.
It's something when you can get into your purpose, isn't it, Kristen?
It is. I've never felt this way before. It's just, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
Of all the things I've done, obviously my family is number one, but in terms of careers and what I do professionally, speaking and offering words of inspiration to thousands of people around the world is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And one thing that is for sure, that when you find your purpose and you can connect with those that you can share and leverage that purpose with, you get these kind of comments. Here's what Kayleen said about Kristen. When I got off the phone with Kristen, I connected with her instantly and knew she was what I needed and what I was looking for and exactly what I wanted. Best investment ever. Did y'all hear that? Sarah said, I was absolutely blown away by Kristen's program. The ground we covered and the process we are going through is top notch. I am just loving you more and more each day. I am hopeful and positive about the future of my business thanks to you. And this is just the beginning. Thank you for delivering such amazingness. Another friend says, Kristen has helped me gain the confidence that I can bring my dream functional medicine facility to life. She has helped me gain clarity in my vision. Are you understanding what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? Because these are testimonials of people that Kristen has worked with throughout the country, and they have a passion to help people, but they didn't necessarily know how to position themselves, right? They didn't know how to position themselves so that they could do their passion and make an impact and also make an income. Some people get turned off by the second eye, don't they, Kristen?
Yes, it can be scary sometimes too. I feel like there's sort of a stigma in the health and wellness space around like making money off of other people's health issues. But at the end of the day, what the work that you're doing is you're changing their lives, right? You're changing them from maybe being bedridden or not able to have a social life or just feeling down and out and depressed and not happy and beholden to your house to living a life, and how valuable that is. If you give somebody their life back, that's so much value. And if you're not getting value back in return for that, it just doesn't feel like an equal exchange, right? And there's so much that they're gonna, that they can give for that amazing transformation.
A couple things that you help those coaches through is getting over inconsistent revenue. And when you talk about inconsistent revenue, what are you talking about?
Yeah. So, some things that we hear from coaches is like, one month I make like $6,000. That's amazing. Other months I make maybe 1,000 or 2,000. So I can never depend on my income. It's just hit or miss. And I don't know, what contributes to it.
And so what do? Do you help them kind of get into the analytics or the anatomy of their income, or what are some reasons why a coach would have inconsistent income?
Yeah, it's really, what I've seen and in talking to hundreds of coaches over the last 2 years is that they're just kind of slapping on, certain strategies. Like, I'm just going to post every day, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to copy what I see other people doing that I think will work for me. And I'm just going to sit back and hope that it works. Right. But hope isn't a business strategy, and copying what other people are doing that you think will work for you is also not a strategy. It has to come from a much deeper place, a foundational place. So what we help coaches think about instead is are the core foundations of their business, and making sure that all of those are clear. What we find is that usually only one out of the 4 core foundations that we teach is defined within somebody's business. The rest are not. And that's one of the biggest root causes for their inconsistencies, because it could be anything from them not being clear on who they're trying to reach. So they're reaching anyone and everyone, and their messaging is super unclear because of that, or they're not excited about or clear about their offer. And so they're not putting it out there, or they're afraid that it might not give someone results. They're not promoting it, or things like that. And so they're not doing the consistent actions that promotes their business because the foundations are broken. So we look both internally at what's going on and externally for how they communicate that. And we help them to really boost all of those and really fill in the holes so they have a complete business that they can then grow upon.
And so then you also help coaches identify and navigate through uncommitted clients.
Yes, definitely. So, part of that process, because, there's a whole range of clients, whether it's in the health coaching industry or not, that will be, not committed at all to super committed to kind of somewhere in between. And especially when it comes to working in a higher end, really inclusive coaching package, you need to be working with people that are committed, right? Especially if you're doing virtual coaching, and even if it was in person, you can't do the work for them. It's kind of the analogy of, you can bring somebody to the gym, but you can't get them to lift the weights. They have to lift the weights themselves. Same thing with health coaching, right? They have to be willing to make those changes, to make changes to their diet, to be coachable, to change their lifestyle, to change their sleep habits, change their exercise. They have to be willing to take those actions. So coaching, in my view, is 100% and 100%. The coach shows up 100% with sharing what they need to share for that client to get better. And then the client has to take 100% responsibility to then implement that. And there's 2 key ways that we teach our clients to vet those people, so that they make sure that they don't end up with these nightmare clients that think that you're just going to spoon feed everything to them. Part of it really does start with your messaging within your marketing. There's certain words and phrases that you can use that actually weeds out the wrong people and ups in the right people. And so that's a big part of it right there, is if you're not getting the right people on sales calls with you or inside your practice, it all starts with your messaging and anything that you're doing publicly in your marketing. So that's kind of step 1. But then step 2, the next layer, is when you're on a sales call. And we walk our clients through a process called Sales with Authenticity, where we teach them a really authentic, very heart-driven sales approach, where we give them actual scripts for different questions to ask along the way, so that it's really a bi-directional call, where not only is the client going to get to know you and your program, but you equally get to know them as a client and discern if they are going to be committed or not. So by the time you're done, you're towards the end of that call, you should have a pretty good idea if this person is committed, if they'll follow through with things, or if they're just a tire quick kicker and they're just looking for a quick fix. and if that's not for your program.
Yeah, Greg, Greg says messaging is so important. And, Greg was a former Marine Corps recruiter. So you definitely have had the capacity, Greg, to, identify and weed through those committed recruits and those or potential recruits and those non-committed folks. And that's the thing that, you want to try to help everyone that you possibly can, but you don't want to spend all of your energy and resources on someone that's not committed to the process.
Yeah, we're not
And
going to get results.
no, they're not going to get results, and you ain't going to get paid. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm realizing is, and I think that where we are in our society, especially now, especially as we are coming out on the other end of the COVID pandemic, is that people, like you said in your you said it in passing, but man, so many people have decided, during COVID, man, I might want to start a business. I'm out of work, right? Well, it's great that you might have a passion, you might even want to talk about health and wellness, but the thing that you don't want to do is start this, not have the tools and keys, and then just get frustrated and quit, because you see that too, right, Kristen?
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely, traits that we see in coaches that, determine whether or not they're going to be successful. And I think at the end of the day, the word that comes to me is conviction. This deep conviction, this deep-seated knowing that you're going to make it work, right? And we never sugarcoat it to our audience or our clients that building a business is easy. It's not. It definitely requires work, right? As you know, and we all know, it requires a lot of work, and it's a roller coaster ride where some days are great, some days are not so great. But at the end of the day, if you stay consistent, if you're committed to showing up and doing the work and pushing through the hard times, you will come out on the other end successful. But it's the coaches that give up too easily, or they take one sales call that's a no and take that as nobody wants to invest in my program, so I'm going to throw in the towel, or the one post that didn't get any engagement and say, well, I must be terrible at the social media thing, so this just isn't going to work for me, right? You have to persevere through those things, just as anyone does, right? You think about probably the founders of Amazon or Apple or all these huge companies. They faced a lot of challenges to build what they had to build, right? No business had it easy, and a lot of businesses can make it look easy from the outside of, oh, they must have just shot straight up to success. No, there's always a deeper story beneath it, right?
Yeah.
And we all have them. And it's just a matter of knowing that it's just a normal part of the journey. And if you know that this is what you're destined to do, then you're going to stick with it in the long term, and it's going to pan out for you.
Yeah, Greg says that he was the Marine Corps recruiter rookie of the year. So of course Greg would be the rookie of the year because he's the man. And but you're right. I have come to that conclusion in all the various endeavors. As you guys know, we have our tentacles spread far and wide. But I have recognized that all of them are a marathon mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was years when I couldn't get to all the speaking engagements, and that was great. But I also realized that you can be a hero today and a zero tomorrow. I didn't want that. What you were talking about, the inconsistency. I would rather it be a slow slope up than all over the place and you stressing yourself out wondering or not if you can make your mortgage payment.
Right.
And that's and I would encourage everyone to listen to what Kristen says, is that you may have the passion, and so just because you see adversity once or twice or often, more often than that, just because you see adversity, that does not mean that you should throw in the towel. Systems have to be worked to work. They have to be worked to work. And so I'm just telling you, this is why we bring experts on here. And I'm going to give her website out, ladies and gentlemen. It is healthwellnessbusiness.com. Listen, I am known for messing up people's names or their website. So you can feel free to correct me when I do it.
Okay.
So, healthwellnessbusiness.com, Kristin Thomas, and she has really given us, especially for all of my health, because I told Kristen that I get approached by a orchestra, I can't even tell you how many people I get approached by that are coaches. And so when I see coach and they send it to me, and it's coach. I'm usually like, okay, let's put them in the coaching category. But Kristen was different, and you could tell that she's not just a coach. She's a coach's coach. And when you're a coach's coach, you know how to get into the conversation with folks. You see what I'm saying? I just gave you guys a little bit of her strategy, but I want you to get more of her strategy by going to her website. And she gives you give a 1 hour strategy session, don't you, Kristen?
Yep, it's a I call six-figure strategy call where, yeah, if you're interested in chatting with us, if this conversation resonates and you're at a place where you are either getting started in your health coaching business or health and wellness business, and you need some help and you want to start off on the right foot and not go through the frustration that we see so many people go through, or you're at a place of like, I'm at a plateau. I don't know how to grow any further without burning myself out, but I want more. How do I figure that out? We help you at both of those ends. So we set up the six-figure strategy call so that we can really take a deep dive look into your business first and foremost and kind of understand where you're at and where your opportunities are, right? Like where are the areas that you're maybe missing that you need to be focused on. And then at that point, we'll have a pretty good understanding of if we can help you or not. We're super authentic in our sales. We don't hard sell people. We don't force you into our programs. If you're not for us or we're not your next step, we'll tell you and we'll guide you towards what we think is next. But if we are for you and we have your permission, we'll talk to you more about what that looks like. And if that resonates, then we'll welcome you with loving arms into our health and wellness business community with our amazing coaches, team, community, all of that.
So Greg says she did an amazing job. Kristen, thank you for being on the show. That was from the VP, Greg Smith, who is handling things from 500 yards away in a totally different city. That's how efficient Impacting Life has become. We've got people in all different parts of the state running this show. And so, Kristen, I hope that you enjoyed the interview. Was it a good interview? Did we do okay?
Best podcast interview I've ever been on, hands down.
Hey, well, go on. Listen, go to somebody and tell them that, all right?
I will.
Listen, last night I was wearing a Minion shirt, and tonight I'm back in full CL King mode with a bow tie for you, those of y'all who can't see it. But Kristen, I usually give about 30, 45 seconds to my guests to give a word of encouragement. So I want you to do that for all of our health and wellness coaches out there. The floor is yours. Go, Kristen.
Sure, put me on the spot. I love it. So if you have a passion for what you do and your mission is to make an impact today in the world of health and wellness in your specific area of focus, then go forward with it with 100% vigor and force. Like the world needs your help so much. The world is only getting sicker, and every health coach who gets out there, every new client that you reach, every person who sees your content, who signs up for your programs, that is one more life that's impacted. And I want you to always keep in mind the domino effect of that, of their family, their friends, their colleagues that see that one person get better. So there's a huge ripple effect. So never discount the power of one like, one comment, one sales call, one client. It all adds up and the world needs your work. So keep getting out there, keep putting in the work. I promise it'll pay off and you are already making impact.
Wow. Very, very powerful words from our friend Kristin Thomas. You can find her at healthwellnessbusiness.com. And you can get that free consultation. Just go to healthwellnessbusiness.com/consultation and sit down and look, do an MRI of where you really are, and get some analysis from an outsider instead of stumbling and fumbling, even though you should be spending more time doing your passion than trying to get on first base. And so, Kristen, we really appreciate you giving us these insights. I'm going to tag a bunch of my health and wellness friends who are in the coaching industry, and maybe you guys can collaborate. If there's anything that Impacting Life can do for you in the future, don't hesitate to reach out, okay?
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, have a great night. We appreciate it.
You too.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's a wrap for tonight. Greg Smith and I was on the wheels of steel. I love this portion of the show. I love all the portions of the show, but I love the fact that we give our guests an opportunity to say a word of encouragement to the audience. So every night if you just come in and tune in for the last 5 minutes of the show, you're going to at least get a word of encouragement on Impacting Life 24/7. And Greg, who would have thought, bro? Who would have thought that we I mean, remember, again, Golden Corral, just me and you and nobody believing we can do this. And this is just, ladies and gentlemen, the beginning. This is just the beginning. I believe that this show will be heard on in every continent of the world. I believe that. I believe that we're going to reach millions and millions of students. You guys know that that's what our passion is young people, in particular at-risk youth, because that's what I was. And Greg's heartbeat is to help other people too. So Greg is a humanitarian at heart, and he is very, very compassionate. Our team, we're very, very thankful for the people who have joined us on this journey. Mike, who helps co-host, Danny, who is the brains behind everything, and Katrina, poet Katrina McCain. We're thankful for all of you. Thursday, Greg, don't we have what do we have Thursday, Greg? It's the Community of Excellence. That's what I seen on the schedule. We have the Community of Excellence, and that's another organization that I let Greg moonlight with. I'm just teasing. It's another nonprofit that helps young people and hosts all types of things for them in the community. And Greg assists them in leadership and gives them guidance and direction. And so I think the Community of Excellence is going to be this coming Thursday, and then we're going to be done. I'm just going to tell you guys now, I may be clearing part of my schedule. I may not, but we got a lot going on. We got a lot coming up. We've got a graduation, a prom, an amusement park trip, a graduation party, and so much more that we're trying to cram in the next 10 to 12 days. And so I may have Mike guest hosting for me a couple times, but I will keep my major commitments. We have the career day coming up. I will definitely be here for that. I think that's June 3rd, but we got a lot of work to do to see Chris off. So we're very, very excited about that. Thank you, Kristen. And thank you for giving these words of encouragement to those business builders. If you're a business builder, especially in the health and wellness arena, go to healthwellnessbusiness.com/consultation. You can get a free consultation. Man, I'll take those. I used to go and do the free tours at the timeshares. Man, if it's free, take advantage of it. You might could learn something. You might could pick up something from it. And she's given you an hour of her time, which is probably very costly if you were to be with her full time. Take advantage of it, ladies and gentlemen. Greg, we will see you Thursday, and we will see our audience from all 33 states as well as 13 countries around the world. We'll see you guys back here on Impacting Life 24/7 with your host, CL King. Hope you have a great night.